Hi, my name is Steve Martilli at freedomeducation.ca, and this video is a video I wish I had like 2-3 years ago. It's on manifesting money and 6 signs why you're trying too hard. And really this video is for someone who's probably making a decent living, but they're struggling in either getting higher lines of credit, higher credit cards, and debt like just coming out of their wazoo. This is what this is for, people in that situation. And this is how to, if you recognize that you're in this situation, then you need to get out of it. So I'm going to give you some ideas on, like, first the signs that you're probably in this scenario where you're trying way too hard to make money, and then what you can do to get out of it. So here's the first sign. You obsess and worry about debt and just about money all the time. You're like, I need more money, or I need to find ways to make more money. Or on top of that, you obsess and worry about debt. And even more importantly, you obsess and worry about your spending. And since your attention creates your reality, the more you worry about spending, the more you spend. And the more you worry about debt, the more debt you get. So that's a first sign that you really got to recognize. If you're worrying and obsessing about debt and spending all the time, stop doing that, okay? Number 2, you stress when someone else talks about money. So this could be on the other side of things where someone is talking about their success story. Maybe they had this, business and they brought in $100,000. They brought in $1 million. And when you hear that, you're like, that's a bunch of crap, and you just get really irritated. Instead of being happy for the person, you get irritated. If you're irritated, then I guarantee that you've got faulty vibrations and faulty limiting beliefs around money. That's a very clear sign that you've got faulty limiting beliefs around money. Absolutely. If you can't be happy for someone else who has $100,000 or $1 million, then how are you going to be happy with yourself when you have that money? You're not. You're completely out of alignment with it. And it won't fall into your lap because you're just completely out of alignment. You're out of sync. Number 3, you think that if you work harder, you'll make more money. You got to be careful with that because that could be a trap. Let's say you're in a job and you think that if you work harder, you'll make more money. Not necessarily. You might just get more stressed and end up staying later nights and being away from your family. And all the overtime that you make, if you do get paid overtime, will just end up going to tax anyways. So just be careful that you don't get caught in this trap about working harder to make more money. It doesn't necessarily line up one-to-one. If you have a business system that can make money while you're sleeping or while you're doing something else, and you work hard at that, then yeah, I would agree that would apply in that case. But for someone who's in a regular job and just trading their time for money, you got to be careful that you just don't work harder to make more money. It doesn't always work 1-to-1 or 1-to-2. You've got to have something in place, like a business system that can actually generate income for you. Number 4, this is a big one. You're in a business or a job that you hate. Now here's the thing. If you think that having a lot of success and a lot of money is going to make you feel really good, right? And you're in a business or a job that you hate and makes you feel really bad, then you've got this misalignment together. How do you end up feeling really good if you feel really bad all the time? How can all this money drop into your lap in a position, in a state where you feel amazing, you feel on top of the world, when you always feel miserable? You can't connect the two. It's like oil and water. You just, and if you're not in a place where you're happy and enjoying what you're doing, then you could bring a lot of money into your life, but you're still going to be miserable. So just something to keep an eye out for. Number 5, you spend more than you earn. This is something that I got into about a couple years ago when I started to charge $100 an hour as a consultant. I was an engineering consultant. And I was making really good money, but I was spending more than I was earning. So I was always in this sort of like debt load, and just like money was always kind of like going out instead of coming in. And what I've really learned about that is that it was because of an old belief that I grew up with. And I think a lot of people are just inundated with this belief. And it's that by having more, you will be more. You know what I mean? In other words, if you have a lot of stuff, then you'll feel abundant. Who said having a lot of stuff ever had to do with feeling abundant? You can feel abundant and then the stuff can show up, or not. You can feel abundant and then let other things come into your life. And you know what? It's a funny thing is when you start to feel abundant, like what I'm talking about, really abundant. You got more than enough time. You got more than enough money. You got more than enough friends. You got more than enough family. You got more than enough, of everything. You start to use less. You start to eat less. You start to, drive less. You start to spend less because you have more than enough. It's a weird way to think of it, but then that's been my experience, that you actually spend less than you earn because you already feel abundant. But that's the starting point. You got to feel abundant first. And the sixth sign that you're just really trying too hard to manifest money is that you're not seeing results. You could be working on a project for 6 months, 12 months, it might have been years, and you're working on the same project and you're not making any money from it, or you're not seeing any positive results from it. It doesn't need to take a long time for you to make money, especially if it's something you're passionate about, and especially if your limiting beliefs or your beliefs are in alignment with what you're doing. If you have that in place, then everything usually takes care of itself. My name's Steve Martile at freedomeducation.ca. Thanks for watching and listening. If you want more cool videos like this, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter. Thanks again for watching.